Welcome back to 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. As always, I'm your host, John J. Ransom Futrell. Welcome to episode 25. This is interesting because I think this is going to be my last podcast for the year. Hell, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm even do this again next year. That being said, I appreciate everybody that has listened and paid attention, shared it, and have really appreciated what I've said, my advice, my consultation, the way I view things. I 100% appreciate that shit. Like, I really do. But that being said, maybe by the end of the show, maybe within a week, maybe within a month, I don't know if I'll be doing this again. But this is episode 25. This is my number. When I play basketball, this was the number I used. It's always 2 over Jordan, 1 over Kobe. Now, interesting fact. All right, so subject matter today is innovation. But before going into that, I want to say thank you to all the artists and people that came out to support my birthday event and help give back to charity. That was extremely important to me. I didn't completely reach my goal, but I still was able to send out 4 meals and 5 pairs of gloves. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Those that didn't support, well, don't tell me you support me when you don't. And that's just being honest with you. Like, I'm not really into the fakeness or false authenticity. Like, that shit just doesn't work well with me. It doesn't sit well at all. But, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. So, keep it moving. We will be starting up open mic Wednesday nights very soon. That's just so you're aware of what's going to happen. The Really Right Productions 3-year birthday bash is this Sunday coming up, December 20th. Doors open at 5 p.m. All right, now that shit's out the way. Innovation, man. Innovation. The reason I want to speak about innovation is because I think often, especially nowadays, we lack innovation and we lack the resources to, I guess you could say, properly bring whatever it is that we're innovating or creating to a platform where the audience can reach it or see it and understand these new ideas and these new avenues and these, pardon me, my nose is a little stuffed. Just understand the journey that we're undertaking, the path that we're going. The reality of it is that innovation is a daunting task at times, and that's once it becomes a business. When it's just a passion and the overall idea is very exciting. Very exciting. You feel refreshed. You're high on energy and everything feels great. But then you have people that will come in and basically tell you can't do it. Or feel because it's different from what they view things to be that you shouldn't do it. Or that it won't work and things of that nature. And what I want to clearly say about that is innovation isn't about any of that shit. It's about creating something that you feel passionate about. Something that you feel will connect with people. Fuck what everybody else does. And the same shit with living your dreams. It's all like, because living your dreams is a form of innovation for your life. But when you create a product or something like that and you put it in the marketplace, regardless of if you copy this person or that person, you still have the same chances of failing. So why the fuck would you copy the same shit? Copy the same blueprint? That shit's fucking stupid. It just doesn't add up. How the fuck can we evolve and things of that nature if we're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing? That shit makes no fucking sense. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, some things work. They've been proven to make people successful, but everybody, like I said before, everybody has their own story. If you're copying someone else's story, how the fuck are you living your own story? How are you creating your own story? How are you innovating anything? That's the reality of it. One of the biggest, I would say controversies, not really a controversy, but one of the biggest gripes that a lot of people have is music all sounds the fucking same. Why? Because nobody's trying to innovate. And those that do try to innovate, the industry blocks them out. You know why? Because it's easier to make money when you're dumbing down people and you're holding people back than it is when you're trying to uplift people or do something different or desocialize people's ears. That's the reality of it. And that's why the music business is fucking losing now. That's the truth. The music industry is fucking losing. Why? Because there's no innovation. And the motherfucking gatekeepers don't want innovation. They don't want innovation. That's the reality of it. I know this. Most artists know this shit. And you best believe commercial artists that have been in the fucking game for over 20 some odd years or even 10 years know this shit. People bitching about why rappers are going in or we're going into acting and all these other things. Why? Because that money's guaranteed. Music industry money is not guaranteed. It isn't. And advance is just saying that you get a part of your loan that goes to everything else. Think, people, is basic. So when you're innovating, guess what? 9 out of 10 times when you're actually innovating something is going to rely on your own resources. And a lot of people don't want to rely on their own resources. Why? Because if that shit fails, it's on them. It's not on anyone else but them. So if you're scared to take risk, don't innovate anything. I mean, that's the reality of it. But also understand, if you're not willing to innovate shit, you're not willing to grow. So what do you want? Do you want growth or do you want to stay where the fuck you at? Do you want to stay the same? Like, the reality is like, I view a lot of people and I view their behaviors and their characters and you know, just the nature of who they are as people. And sorry, the oatmeal cookie earlier, so like I'm fucking dealing with that right now. But back what I was saying, you know, I've dealt with a lot of people. I observe them. I observe their characteristics and who they are as people. A lot of people want to follow the beaten path of others. Their dreams and aspirations are based on others. That's really where materialism comes from, if you want to be frank about it. Materialism is a following of a social conditioning based upon material goods as having value. Even when 90% of material goods go down in value, they don't go up in value. I'm going to say it again. They go down in value, not up in value. So therefore, ask yourself, what do you really value? Because that's what innovation is about. Innovation is about creating value to something that has yet to be seen, or recreating a lane, or creating a new journey for someone else that's coming behind you. See, that can never go down in value. Because if you kick down a door, you open a door, guess what? You allow a new journey. You allow someone else behind you to come in and basically help fucking further push that motherfucking path. If I go out and I create a new genre of music rather than following the same commercial shit that other people are doing, I am allowing other people to come in and be creative and create things that maybe aren't similar, or maybe not are similar but not the same thing, but sound similar, to have a new path for success. That's what innovation's about. If I create a product that has yet to be created, or I create a product based on something that I see that's already out in the market, but it can be taken a step further, guess what? I am providing something for someone's needs. I am further pushing the path that someone else had already created. I am not copying them. There's a difference between copying someone and helping to push the path, and there's a difference between that and actually innovating and kicking down a fucking door, breaking through the glass ceiling. Most people are comfortable being secure. I am not. I am personally the type of person that wants to create some shit that I know is going to go down in the fucking history books. I am going to innovate. I am going to create. When I call myself a creator, I fucking mean that shit. I am a fucking creator. That's what I do. Do I like making certain types of music that already exists? Absolutely. Do I like creating certain graphics that can remind you of something and create certain art that reminds you of something? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, what makes me the most happy is creating some shit that I see that nobody else has done. That's where the real power lies, creating things that other people have not created. And I do not mean that in the form of just for business or stressing yourself out. I mean that where you're passionate about it, where your energy is high, you feel fucking good about it, and can't nobody tell you anything about it, regardless of whatever advice they give you. Can't nobody tell you that what you're doing that makes you happy and makes you passionate is wrong. The reason is because that's from their perspective. They're looking from the outside in. They're not living your life and they're not living your dream. So never let a motherfucker that cannot understand or see what it is that you're doing dictate what it is that you're doing, because that's what innovation is about. Innovation is about not being dictated by society, other people's emotions, or how they feel about what you're doing. That's what innovation is. That's how you innovate your life. That's how we innovate and change fucking society. The reality is we know there's gatekeepers. We know this already. So instead of bitching, screaming about conspiracy theories and the Illuminati, motherfucker, change something. Innovate something. Inform people. And I don't mean inform people in the sense of, this murky sense of, we're all going to die and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third through organized thought and all these other things. What I mean is this one. If you know or you feel that we are in danger, if you feel like something is wrong with our food, then why aren't you out there planting and farming? Why aren't you out here planting seeds for trees? Why aren't you doing all these things? Because that's the reality of it. That's how you really innovate things. You can change a community by simply taking action and doing certain things for those that are coming up behind you. See, that's part of innovation too. Don't get the shit twisted. It's not just about products. It's not just about selling things to people. Innovation has to do with change. You're making a change. You're making a fucking difference. Even in the smallest and most minuscule way. Because the reality is, what you have to understand is, instead of looking at the big boys, meaning the politicians and the motherfuckers with all this money, you need to look at the small things you can do to influence someone around you. That's innovation. If you could help change someone's path into a more positive path, or even influence them in any form or fashion, you're innovating. That's what that is. Now, that's my definition of it. You believe what you need to believe. But this is what I'm saying. If I say, as an artist, say for instance, I'm working on Midnight Thoughts in the Winter right now, the full book. I'm going to finish it off with the third part, which means I'm putting out 1 and 2 and a third part, which will be out soon. If you follow me on social media, you'll definitely know about it. Now, that being said, okay, so how am I trying to innovate that? Well, I decided to write these quote-unquote poetry books that were really song books. I put songs in the poetry. And I wrote about experiences that I may have had, or experiences that I know my friends have had, or I know that other people have had, to teach them and tell them about the lessons that I've seen and I've learned by watching other people. Maybe that can influence someone, maybe it won't. Maybe some people will just take the shit as pleasure. Or some people will take it as, damn, he's writing all this shit and it seems too much like reality. Fuck it, I made you think. By making someone think, by providing them with some form of thought, providing them with some form of a seed for growth, you are innovating. Innovation, planting the seed, growth. Growth, period. Growth. So push the path or break down the fucking door. Period. That's how you do it. If you really want to sit here and make a change, if you really want to sit here and innovate, if you really want to make people believe in what it is that you're doing, innovate. Be your own fucking person. Influence people positively. If you influence people with your negative energy, you're just as bad as the motherfuckers that are above you, that you feel are being destructive towards society, this planet, whatever job you're at, whatever business you work for, or this, that, and the third. Guess what? You're doing the same shit that they're doing. You're just doing it in a different way, and perhaps a little bit more minuscule. Because I also want to talk about this. I want to bring this one in. And, you know, I don't normally talk about race and all this other shit, but I want to clearly state this. A lot of people got twisted what is racism and what is being prejudiced. Being prejudiced is having a strong opinion about a group of people. Racism is about oppression of a group of people. And to really be a racist, you have to have the power. Specifically through institutions and things of that nature. That's what racism actually is. Being prejudiced is saying you don't like a group of people for whatever reason, whether it's a stereotype or whatever experience you have. Everybody has some form of prejudice in them. That's the reality of it. But not everyone is racist. Okay. So now let's use this. Now, if I know everyone is prejudiced, but I know there exists racism, how do you innovate that? Well, what you do is you find like-minded people of all different groups of people that have the same common goal. And you create something that defunks racism. That's innovation. That is the greatest form of innovation that you can do when it pertains to that subject matter. Now, I am in no form saying do not stick with the group of people that you identify with and build and create and organize, because that's also a form of innovation. However, in order for what your group of people is doing to have true power, you need to be able to combine with other people to therefore defunct a system that overall rules. So you have to understand that. Now let's relate that. Let's take that example. Let's take that shit back to music. So let's look at music as racist. Let's say rappers, singers, guitar players, drummers, different types, right? And let's say, and then, so those are the artists, and then there's the industry. That's racism. That's the glass ceiling. That's those who control everything. So, how do you defunk the industry from being able to enslave you, take your money? Same shit. You have to get the rappers, the drummers, the guitar players, the singers. You have to get them all on the same fucking page. They have to come together. That's how you do it. See, it's cool if all the rappers get together and they make their own system and understand the third. But if all the rappers make their own system over here, but the singers are still on the other side, and the guitar players and whoever else, they're all, and the composers and everything and everyone, and just overall producers and beat makers are on the other side. Guess what? Guess who helps provide the music for the rappers? Think of it that way. You see, it as much as people want to talk about being separate and all this other shit that was created by the same racist motherfuckers they're fighting against, a lot of people don't understand that unity has to happen. It has to. That's the only way to make any true change. It has to be some form of unity. But I will say this. It has to start with you as an individual. It has to start with your mindset. How you view things. Because guess what? Remember I was talking about taking a risk? Unifying with other people is taking a fucking risk. It's a big risk. Because now you're relying on other people. Guess what? That goes with innovation. That goes with planting that seed. Because even if you start something small, you are planting a seed for innovation and for growth and for change. So, let's step away from all that shit and get back to this business shit. So, me as a businessman, me as an artist and as a creator, and I've stated this shit before, I'm 100% doing this shit based on me just wanting to do something in my free time to give back. That's my motives for doing this shit, because I'm not gaining shit from this, especially not from a, monetary standpoint. In business, everything is about money, regardless. So, that shit being said, how do I innovate? Like what do I do besides the books and all that other shit? Well, I think of business models and ways to connect every skill that I have, all my strengths, Therefore, I use my strengths to create my brand and tell my story. Because my story is true and unique to me. My story is true and unique to my business. My story is true and unique to whatever product that I release. It is my job to tell that story. It is my job to give my audience, whether it be through this podcast, through my websites, through social media, my story in a way that I can only tell it. That's innovation. Because can't nobody tell my story. As many people have stolen my quotes, try to steal my artwork and other things. They can't tell my story, and that's why it does not work. So they have to keep stealing from other people. And I spoke about this shit in the past. That's the reality of it. Because the thing about innovation is you're going to have a lot of people try to copy you. Try to do exactly what you're doing or do what you do. Some people are going to pretend to support you just to try to find ways to take whatever seeds they have from your ideas and use it for their purposes to capitalize off of. And that's cool because that's part of their story. The problem is when they're trying to tell your story because it doesn't come across as authentic and genuine to whoever participates in what they're doing because it wasn't originally their divine gift. It didn't originally come to them the way it came to you. So with that being said, don't worry about none of that shit. I used to be very big on that shit. Hell, at some points it still annoys me when people steal my quotes and shit like that. Steal my poetry or whatever and try to make it pretend that's their shit when they know they couldn't fucking think of it even if they tried. Arrogant statement, that's my ego. That's my ego talking. But anyway, my point is this. In every task that you undertake in this life, man, there's going to be obstacles. A lot of shit's going to get in your way. A lot of shit's going to cause you pain. A lot of shit's going to make you sad. A lot of people are going to bring negative energy to you instead of positive energy. A lot of people are going to be extremely selfish. A lot of people are going to do whatever they can to try to take advantage of you as a resource. It is in your hand. It is in your hands. It is of your own reconnaissance of. It is about the power that you possess. It is about the power that you possess. That's how you make a change. That's how you plant seeds. And if this is the last podcast for this year, once again, I want to say thank you to everyone that has paid attention, shared it, and truly appreciate what I tried to do or what I attempted to do. I know a lot of people do podcasts. I feel personally like this podcast is a bit different from a lot of other shit. These are all my real thoughts. These are no notes, and like I really don't do shit like that. I speak from my heart, speak from my mind, speak from my soul, and really try to give you what it is that I feel on subject matters that I bring to the table. And if you appreciated it, thank you. I appreciate that. End of the day, live your dreams, tell your story, innovate, make a change, plant a seed, and be as powerful as you want to be. And break through that fucking glass ceiling. Peace and love. 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. 9 a.m. to 5 a.m.